welcome to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess.
I'm Connie.
And today we are diving back in for the next 3 chapters of Breaking Dawn.
That's right. Before we get too deep into anything, just a reminder, you should follow us on all of our social medias. They can be found in the description below. You should also hit that notification bell so you can be alerted when more of our chapter and chill Saturdays come out. We're working on it. We're going to make it stick. We also have our Who Knows What Wednesday episodes: true crime, mystery, trauma, gore, sadness, sometimes weirdness, sometimes aliens or yetis.
Maybe happiness sprinkled in there?
Government working with yetis. A lot of options. That is actually in one of our episodes. If anyone knows which episode it's in, leave it in the comments.
I will still stand by my Yeti theory on that too, by the way.
I'm going government and aliens.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, maybe yetis are aliens.
They could be.
They could be. This is actually a legitimate conversation.
I know. I'm not crazy.
Not crazy. Oh, but this is why you should subscribe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, and no summary because
you should know by now.
Welcome back.
Yeah. I doubt you're jumping in right at chapter 25. So,
I mean, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe this is your favorite chapter.
Does anyone have a favorite chapter of it? Well, Bibles. People have favorite chapters of the Bible. Aside from a religious book, does anyone have favorite chapters in a book that they like remember the chapter number?
I feel like some people would. I could see it.
That's true. Huh. I'm not that person.
All right. Well, jumping in now to chapter 25, Favor. Around 7 that morning, Edward reminded Bella of Renesmee. Bella sprung up. She was anxious, thinking about what Renesmee would look like that day. Edward, sensing her panic, tells her that she's okay. Just get dressed and they'll be back in no time. They have all night together. And if you see our faces here, that is from the lovely, lovely quote, the end quote that I do at the end of every chapter finally came to bite me in the butt. It was bad.
See previous episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that is our faces.
Yeah.
So it was still weird to Bella to think of herself as a mother. Most people get 9 months to wrap their head around the idea. Bella went into the closet expecting to wear the first thing that she touched, but it was Alice, so of course it wouldn't be that easy. Bella asks what is hers, and Edward points out everything but one rack is hers.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's my type of closet.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I'm being for real, I am stereotypical that way.
Okay, here's the thing. I wouldn't say that I have a lot of clothes, but my husband just doesn't have a lot of clothes. He's like, as soon as I don't want to wear it, I get rid of it. So he just is perpetually out of shirts.
Couldn't be me. I mean, I do get rid of a lot more stuff now than I used to, but I also have regrets about it because I'm like, oh, I really wish I held on to a bunch of that stuff.
Yep.
So
Bella ignores the floor-length gowns and tries to find something normal to wear. Edward offers to help and follows the scent to some jeans. Denim has its own scent as well as cotton, apparently, and then he finds her a white t-shirt and tosses it to Bella. They both get dressed and head back to the house to find Renesmee awake. They were all in the living room, Renesmee on the floor with Rosalie and Emmett hovering, and the rest were sitting on the couch, and they were captivated by her. Renesmee didn't look too much different, just a little longer. Rose tells them that she had just woken up and they would have called in a few minutes. Renesmee has been asking, or more so demanding, for Bella, but they didn't want to disturb them. Bella tells Renesmee that they'll get her room set up in the cottage soon. She then thanks Esme for the perfect cottage. Emmett was now laughing. He is shocked it's still standing. Bella grits her teeth and changes the subject, asking for the wolves. They took off this morning. Rosalie mumbled that she doesn't know or care. Jacob was watching Renesmee sleep and then just jumped up and stormed out. But it doesn't matter since they won't be here much longer. Emmett suggests that they go to New Hampshire to get things all set up. Alice jumps in the conversation. Jacob ruined her entire day. She can't see anything anymore. Edward tells everyone that Jacob talked to Charlie because he's thinking that Charlie is following after Jacob, and Jacob is on his way back home now. Wow, that was a sentence.
Oh, okay. So keeping track, Edward all of a sudden is like, everybody, brace yourself. Charlie is following Jacob, who is on his way back here now.
Yeah, because Edward can all of a sudden hear him. He's
Yes.
close enough back where, yeah.
Got it.
Wow. Thank you for the clarification. My brain was having a hard time figuring that out.
This is different than my memory. Okay, you want it? It's all good. I'm just going to hush and listen.
So Jacob comes through the door and greets them. Seth and Leah were behind him. Jacob tells them that Charlie will be here soon, and he assumes someone will get Bella some sunglasses or something. What had he done? Jacob continues that Rose and Emmett woke him up this morning talking about them leaving, and he can't let that happen. Charlie was the biggest issue, so problem solved. Bella has some sort of supernatural self-control, so he isn't in any danger. Jacob's saying that. Edward snarls at him. That is just a theory. What happens if she won't be able to resist? But Jacob didn't realize that.
Of course not.
No. Bella interrupts. Jacob put him in danger because it's either death or vampire for Charlie now, too. Jacob tells her to relax. He didn't say anything that she hadn't already planned to tell him. The whole idea was letting him make the wrong assumptions, so he provided a red herring for them. He didn't say anything about her, but he phased in front of Charlie.
Like he didn't give him a heart attack.
Mm-hmm. Dang, this chapter, I should have read ahead. I was going to wear my Charlie shirt. I brought it.
Oh, that's all good. Do you want to pause and change for your Charlie shirt? It's okay to pause and change for the Charlie shirt. I'll go grab a cookie.
I'm going to go change you to my Charlie shirt.
I'm going to grab a cookie.
All right, and we're back. I feel better with my Charlie shirt on.
Oh, you can't see the team. There we go. Team Charlie. Oh, Charlie.
Thank you, Jody. Mm-hmm. All right. So Jacob decided to go and phase in front of Charlie. Charlie took it like a champ, though. Jacob was very impressed. Bella demands for Jacob to tell her everything before she rips his head off. This morning, Jacob went to Charlie's and asked him to come on a walk with him. Charlie was confused, but followed Jacob once he told him that Bella was back in town and wasn't sick anymore. She was a little weird, but good. He was about to take off to see her, but Jacob stopped him, telling him he had to show him something first. And then he phased. Bella tells him that she wants every detail, so Jacob goes into what they talked about. And we have our first book quote. Let me see. I phased back and got dressed, and then after he started breathing again, I said something like, Charlie, you don't live in the world that you thought you lived in. The good news is nothing has changed, except that you now know. Life will go on the same the way it always has. You can go right back to pretending that you don't believe any of this. It took him a minute to get his head together, and then he wanted to know what was really going on with you, with the whole rare disease thing. I told him that you had been sick, but you were fine now. It was just that you had to change a little bit in the process of getting better. He wanted to know what I meant by change, and I told him that you looked a lot more like Esme now than you looked like Renee. Edward hissed while I stared in horror. This was headed in a dangerous direction. After a few minutes, he asked real quietly if you turned into an animal too. And I said, she wishes she was that cool. Jacob chuckled.
I was waiting for Emmett to make a comment, but
I
okay.
know. Rosalie made a noise of disgust. I started to tell him more about the werewolves, but I didn't even get the whole word out. Charlie cut me off and said he'd rather not know the specifics.
Good old Charlie.
Yep. Then he asked if you'd known what you were getting yourself into when you married Edward. I said, "Sure, she's known all this for years, since she first came to Forks." He didn't like that very much. I let him rant until he got it out of his system. After he calmed down, he just wanted to know two things. He wanted to see you, and I said it would be better if he gave me a heads up to explain. I inhaled deeply. What was the other thing he wanted? Jacob smiled. "You'll like this. His main request is that he be told as little as possible about all of this. If it's not absolutely essential for him to know something, then keep it to yourself. Need to know only." I felt relief for the first time since Jacob had walked in. I can handle that part. Other than that, he'd just like to pretend that things are normal. Jacob's smile turned smug. He must suspect that I would be starting to feel the first faint stirring of gratitude about now. "What did you tell him about Renesmee?" I struggled to maintain the razor edge in my voice, fighting the reluctant appreciation. It was premature. There was still so much wrong with the situation, even if Jacob's intentions had brought out a better reaction in Charlie than I ever hoped for. "Oh, yeah, so I told him that you and Edward had inherited a new little mouth to feed." He glanced at Edward.
In okay. Sure.
It was a choice.
It was a choice.
The wording was a choice is what I meant by that.
All of it was a choice.
Um, she is your orphaned ward, like Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson. Jacob snorted. "I didn't think you'd mind me lying. That's all part of the game, right?" Edward didn't respond in any way, so Jacob went on. "Charlie was way past being shocked at that point, but he did ask if you were adopting her like a daughter. Like I'm sort of a grandfather," were his exact words. I told him, "Yes, congrats, Gramps." And all of that, he even smiled a little.
Oh.
Uh, the stinging returned to my eyes, but not out of fear or anguish this time. Charlie was smiling at the idea of being a grandpa. Charlie would meet Renesmee. "But she's changing so fast," I whispered. I told him that she was more special than all of us put together, Jacob said in a soft voice. He stood and walked right up to me, waving Leah and Seth off when they started to follow. Renesmee reached out to him, but I hugged her more tightly to me. I told him, "Trust me, you don't want to know about this, but if you can ignore all of the strange parts, you're going to be amazed. She's the most wonderful person in the world." And then I told him that if he could deal with that, you all would stick around for a while and he would have a chance to get to know her. But that if it was too much for him, you would leave. He said as long as no one forced too much information on him, he'd deal.
Hmm. Go Charlie.
Go Charlie. We love Charlie.
Might be a little ironic given his profession that he doesn't want more details, but
Yeah. Yeah. I also remember reading the part, probably the one of the funniest parts, and I'm mad that I didn't put it down because I thought that that's where the quote was. Maybe I can find it. But it was like, Jacob was like, "Yeah, he was kind of questioning me when we were out walking what I had to show him. And then I started undressing and he was really confused."
I remember that part.
um, oh, yeah. He's brave, brave as you are. Didn't pass out or throw up or anything. I gotta say, I was impressed. You should have seen his face when I started taking my clothes off, though. Priceless.
That I remember.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
if I was Charlie in that situation, I would also be like, bud, what we doing? Like, why we getting naked in the woods? Like, correction, why you getting naked in the woods?
Your best friend's 17-year-old son comes up to you and it's like, okay, so something's up with your daughter. She's fine, though. She looks a little weird. They have this weird little orphan thing that they inherited. You can go see her, but I have to show you something first. And then starts stripping.
Yeah, Charlie handled this like a real champ. Good man, good man.
Good job, Charlie.
Good. Yeah, that would be I'm not saying that, to having a drink is an appropriate response to things, but if there was ever a time to be like, I think I need to sit down and maybe go for some tequila or vodka, that would
might be a
probably be a
time.
time.
Yeah.
That would be a time.
I think it would be warranted.
It would. And again, I'm not a person who drinks, but if I had that
I'm not
situation,
either.
I'd be like, tequila, vodka, give me
Yeah.
something.
I need something.
I'll take whiskey. Give me something so that I can take the edge off and process. Because my next thought would be like, oh my God, are skinwalkers real? Like, what else is out
real?
there?
Yeah.
Wendigos? I hate
I
those.
still don't know what they are, but
Yeah, we have to do an episode.
yeah. I had a train of thought and it just boo.
What's out there?
That's probably why Charlie doesn't want to know. He's like, don't tell me any details because he doesn't want to know what's out there.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'd be like, don't tell me, don't tell me nothing.
I would actually, yeah, I would say the same thing. Tell me what I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And when I feel comfortable, I'll ask what I should know and what can I know, like in general.
Yep.
But yeah, even the knowledge that we've had these conversations, I think they made it into episodes, but even knowing what we know about malls, like, I can't see those the same.
Mm-mm.
For those who don't know, here in Minnesota, we have something called the Mall of America. It's the largest indoor mall in the U.S., isn't it?
In the U.S., yes.
Yes. We should know that, but
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, it is a spot where human trafficking and kidnapping happens
Mm-hmm.
because it's such a popular place and because it's so massive. So once you know that, all of a sudden it makes a lot more sense why our parents didn't want us going there by ourselves as teenagers.
Yeah. I mean, it's also very like tourist attraction-y. Like a lot of people come from all over the world, and so it makes things like that even more prevalent because there are so many people from everywhere there
Yes.
at all times.
At all times, even if you go on a weekday.
Yeah.
But God help if you go on a Saturday. I did that recently this year.
Nope.
I had forgotten how bad it was on weekends.
It's bad.
It was rough.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even during the holiday season or the tourist season. It was in January.
Mm-hmm.
It was rough.
Yeah.
Anyway, the more you know.
Yep. Bella tells Jacob she isn't going to thank him. He is still putting Charlie at risk. Jacob apologizes. He didn't know it was like this. Things are different with them now, but she will always be his best friend, and he will always love her. But now there is finally a balance, and they both have people that they can't live without. He asks if they're still friends. Bella hesitates and says if she doesn't kill Charlie, she'll consider forgiving him. Jacob asks if he can take Renesmee from Bella. She tells him she's actually holding her so that her hands are occupied and she won't be able to kill him. So maybe later, him as in Jacob.
Yes.
Jacob sighs but doesn't push it.
Smart man.
Mm-hmm. Good decision.
Very good decision.
Alice comes in and tells Jacob if he needs to stay, he needs to be in the corner. She needs to see. She then tells Bella to give him Renesmee because she'll need her arms free. Bella started to panic, thinking about what failure would mean. She quickly hands Renesmee to Jacob. Jacob looked concerned, but he gestured for the others to join him. Seth did, but Leah shook her head and stayed in place. She asked if she was allowed to leave. Her hands were still shaking. Jacob tells her, of course, and she heads out the back door. Edward comes over to comfort Bella and tells her that she can do this and they will help her. If he didn't think that she couldn't handle it, they would leave now. But she can, and she'll be much happier if she can have Charlie in her life. Bella tried to get her breathing under control, which is ironic because she's a vampire and doesn't have to breathe.
Wasn't there a comment about her and breathing where it's just it's a reflex, but it doesn't actually bring the comfort that it used to?
There was a comment. I don't remember exactly what it said, but there was a comment.
Yeah, because I can see that, after living your entire life as a human and then all of a sudden you have a lot. This has all been a week for her.
It has been a week.
It's been a heck of a week.
Yeah. But I do remember they're like, they don't need to breathe. Like they can swim the whole ocean without breathing, right?
It just gets a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, remember that for later on, because there's a comment where Bella's like, I ran out of breath and I had to like breathe in air or something. So remember that for it in a few chapters.
Yes, but I thought Edward also made a comment that like in order to speak they need to have the air to breathe.
Oh, I don't recall that.
Maybe that was a Midnight Sun. I think that might have been a Midnight Sun because like the whole moment where he's in the high school and like the the fan scene and all that stuff, and he had to talk to somebody and he had to like sneak a breath. I think I'm remembering that right. It's been a minute. I do think Stephanie used Midnight Sun to fill in a couple of big plot holes that she
Like
accidentally
that.
dug.
Yeah, well, there's a couple.
One or two. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So Alice holds a small white box out to her and tells her that these will irritate her eyes. They don't hurt, but they will cloud her vision. They won't match her old eye color, but it's better than bright red. She got these before Bella left on the honeymoon. She was prepared for several possible futures. Bella put them in and asked how she looks. Edward says gorgeous, but Alice was impatient and finishes his thought. She is always gorgeous. It's better than red, but that's the best she can give. These are muddy brown, and her old brown was much prettier. It's like a nice backhanded compliment there.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're always pretty. Just it's fine. It'll work for now. Go.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Like, okay.
Alice also warns her that her venom will dissolve them in a few hours. So if Charlie stays longer, she needs to excuse herself and place in new ones.
She's got venom in her eyeballs?
Well, I mean, it's like...
Oh, eyes, nose, and throat. Yeah.
Yeah.
The venom earwax has venom?
Well, I mean, the venom...
throat.
The venom is probably like in their...
system.
So I'm assuming like venom takes place of like blood and saliva.
Yeah, I guess they wouldn't have blood in them anymore.
Yeah, blood,
because that's why they're
mucus.
so strong as newborns, because they're going through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they get runny noses anymore? I don't think so, because they're kind of frozen in time and kind of dead. If they're frozen in time, I would really hope no one got turned in ovulation when they're all bloated and just feeling awful. No, that's not ovulation. That's
ovulation. That's
follicular. No. Luteal.
Whatever is after that one. Whatever is after ovulation.
Luteal.
Yeah.
Because that's the anger phase.
So if Charlie stays longer, she just needs to excuse herself and go place in new ones. That's a good idea to do anyways, though, since humans need bathroom breaks. So she should go and, yeah.
Oh, that's the nice part of being a vampire.
Yeah, could you imagine all of a sudden not having to
bathroom
break anymore?
Not having a nervous bladder?
Mm-hmm. We're just talking about that. It's like, do I have to pee or am I just anxious? Anyways. She then asks Esme to give her some pointers on being human, but keep it simple because Charlie will be here in 5 minutes. Esme gives her some tips to sit, look around, blink, and fidget. Jasper adds that she will need to move her shoulders too to look like she's breathing since she'll be holding her breath. They give her encouragement. Bella tells Jacob that she needs Renesmee. Alice tries to tell her no, that interferes with her being able to see. With panic in her voice, Bella tells her that she needs her to keep calm. Alice groans but agrees. Jacob hands over Renesmee and backs away. Edward tells Renesmee that someone special is coming to see them. He isn't like them or Jacob, and they have to be very careful and shouldn't tell him things like what she does with the rest of them. Renesmee touches his face. Edward continues the warning, telling her that Charlie isn't like Jacob and he won't heal the same, so try to not bite him. He then assures Bella that she will be careful. Quote, Renesmee touched him again. No, I don't care if you bite Jacob. That's fine. End quote. Edward suggests for Jacob to leave, but Jacob wants to stay. Charlie pulls in the driveway and Bella concentrates on Renesmee's heart beating to calm her down. And Jasper reassures her. You sure? I asked him. Positive, you can do anything. He smiled and kissed me. It wasn't precisely a peck on the lip. It wasn't precisely a peck on the lips, and my wild vampire reactions took me off guard yet again. Edward's lips were like a shot of some addictive chemical straight into my nervous system. I was instantly craving more. It took all my concentration to remember the baby in my arms. Jasper felt my mood change.
No!
Edward, no. You might not want to distract her like that right now. She needs to be able to focus. Edward pulled away. Oops, he said. I laughed. That had been my line from the very beginning, from the very first kiss. Later, I said, and anticipation curled in my stomach into a ball. Focus, Bella, Jasper urged. Right.
Oh, that's disgusting. I'm sorry. Okay, those feelings are not disgusting. Let me clarify. My brother-in-law, love him, good guy. I would never want him to be experiencing, if I was experiencing this from my husband.
This is so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable. No.
Uh-huh.
There's so much more that could be said right here. We're just going to leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Apparently, we have now upgraded from the red flag of cringe to the pillow of dear God, why?
Pillow to the face.
Dear God, why? Thank you to my mother-in-law for this pillow. I didn't know it was going to be used for this.
So focus, Bella, Jasper urged. Right. I pushed the trembling feeling away. Charlie, that was the main thing now. Keep Charlie safe today. We would have all night. Bella. Sorry, Jasper. Emmett laughed.
Jesus I mean, I'm not going to say half of the stuff that I'm thinking right now because this is the internet.
It's, yeah. Remember last episode when I was like, I don't think we have any cringy ones coming up except for one. Apparently we have a couple.
Yeah. It's dear Lordy. Well, I mean, nope.
Let's keep going.
Keep going.
Carlisle answered the door and greeted Charlie, and he immediately asked for Bella. He walked over to Bella, and she assures him that she is okay now. She took a breath in. There was not just pain, but desire. He was tempting, just like the hikers had been on the hunt. She reminds herself that she isn't hunting and this is her father. Edward squeezes her shoulder, and Jacob gives her a sympathetic look. Bella collected herself and told him that Jacob was telling the truth. Charlie growls, that makes one of you. Renesmee sniffed the air, and Bella tightened her grip on her. Charlie looked down and saw her. The anger fell from his face. This was the orphan Jacob said that they were adopting. Edward lies because she looked too similar to Edward. He tells him that this is his niece. He lost his parents, and his older brother was adopted out like him. He never saw him again, but the courts tracked him down when he and his wife died in a car accident and left their only child without any other family. Renesmee peeked out at Charlie and then hid again. Charlie says that she's beautiful, but it's a huge responsibility and they're just getting started. Maybe Charlie and Esme could, but Bella interrupts. She is hers and she wants her. Charlie frowns. She's making him a grandpa so young. Edward points out that Carlisle is a grandfather as well. Charlie snorts. That does make him feel better. Renesmee looked at Charlie for the first time, and then he started hyperventilating. She had Bella's eyes and his eyes. His lips trembled, and Bella assumed that he was counting the months back to see where 9 months would have been. Jacob comes over, pats Charlie on the back, and whispers in his ear, "Need to know, Charlie. It's okay, I promise." Charlie didn't know they could all hear him, though.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie nodded and takes a step to Edward and tells him that he doesn't want to know everything, but he's done with the lies. Edward apologizes and tells him that he needs to know the public story more than the truth. If he is a part of this secret, the public story is what counts, and it's what's going to protect both Bella and Renesmee. Charlie agrees to go along with the lies to protect them. He wishes that Bella would have given him a warning, but Bella points out that wouldn't have made things easier. Renesmee touched Bella, and Bella saw thirst, curiosity, and Charlie. This told Bella that she understood what Edward told her, and she was acknowledging her thirst, but overrode it. Charlie asks how old she is. Edward tells him 3 months, or at least the size of one. She's younger in some ways and older in others. Renesmee waved at him, and Charlie stared. Jacob elbows him. He told him that she was special. Charlie cringes away from the contact, and Jacob tells him that he is still the same person he's always been. Just pretend this afternoon didn't happen.
That's a big ask, my dude.
I mean, a lot happened. You're like, hey, your daughter's alive, and then you strip naked in front of him, and then you turned into a wolf.
The middle part probably being the most disturbing to Charlie.
Yeah. Okay. Just what is your part in all this, Jake? He asked. How much does Billy know? Why are you here? He looked at Jacob's face, which was glowing as he stared at Renesmee. Well, I could tell you all about it. Billy knows absolutely everything, but it involves a lot of stuff about werewolves. Charlie protested, covering his ears. Never mind. Jacob grinned. Everything's going to be great, Charlie. Just try to not believe anything you see. My dad mumbled something unintelligible. Woo! Emmett suddenly boomed in his deep bass. Go Gators. Charlie and Jacob jumped. The rest of us froze. Charlie recovered, then looked at Emmett over his shoulder. Florida winning? Just scored the first touchdown, Emmett confirmed. He shot a look in my direction, wagging his eyebrows like a villain in Vaudeville? Vaudeville.
Old-timey villains.
Ah. About time somebody scored around here. They fought back in front of Charlie. That was over the line. But Charlie was beyond noticing. He took another deep breath, sucking the air in. He was trying to pull it down to his toes. I envied him. He lurched to his feet, stepped around Jacob, and half fell into an open chair. Well, he sighed, I guess we should see if they can hold on to the lead. End of chapter 25.
You know, maybe it's because of Charlie's profession that he's handling this so well.
Probably. You see a lot of stuff as a first responder.
And you don't have time to dwell, you just gotta keep going, so.
You can react later.
Well, unintentional perk of the job. So if you see a werewolf or something, tell me, I wanna know.
I can
wanna know.
wholeheartedly tell you, I have never seen a werewolf.
Okay, well, if you ever do see anything, I know you're going to handle it well. I expect a call.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to say it in code, that's fine. Reference this episode. And I'll be like, all right, I'm going to you. Then we'll like make sure everything's locked up so the NSA is not listening. I don't know. Does the NSA know about werewolves? Probably.
Probably. Let's make sure I'm mentally sound first if I call you saying, hey, I saw a werewolf. I have concerns about myself.
I would have concerns about both of us, but we'd rule out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
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 We really do have contingency plans for a lot.
What do we do if we see a werewolf?
What do we do if we're being held hostage? Wink. There's a lot. We got backup plans.
We do.
Yeah, we really have control issues.
We would be Alice for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Not Emmett.
No.
Nowhere near relaxed enough for that.
Nope. Nope.
No.
Nope. Are you ready to go into 26?
Oh, that was the end. Yes.
Shiny. Chapter title.
I do like shiny.
Charlie isn't sure what to tell Renee, and Bella agrees she doesn't want to freak her out. It's better to protect her. This isn't for the faint of heart. Quote, I would have tried to protect you too if I'd known, but I guess you'd never fit into that faint-hearted category, have you? That was Charlie.
Saying that to Bella? Aww.
Mm-hmm. Charlie continues, they have time to talk about this. He'll think of something. It was both a long and short day. Charlie was late for dinner with Sue and Billy. Bella thought of how awkward that dinner would be, but at least someone was keeping him from starving. As time went on, Charlie began to relax. He watched 2 whole games and then the news. He didn't seem in a hurry to go anywhere. Seth reminds Charlie of the time and tells him that Bella and Nessie will be here tomorrow. They need to go get some food. Seth led him out, but Charlie paused. Another thing with this book, this end here, we're getting into some longer quotes just
I'm
because
good with
yeah.
As long as they're not.
I don't think this one is. It shouldn't be.
That's just going to be known as the quote from here on out.
Yeah.
End of last episode.
Yeah. I don't think anything is as bad as that one because that was the one that stuck out in my mind. So, I don't think this one will be, though. Jake's, I think this one's a cute one with like a Charlie and Bella moment, and that's why it's so long. So, I think that's what we're getting. Jake says, you guys were going to take off on me, he muttered to me now. I didn't know what to do if I didn't want to do it if there was any other way at all. That's why we're still here. He said you could stay for a while, but only if I'm tough enough and if I can keep my mouth shut. Yes, but I can't promise that we'll never leave, Dad. It's pretty complicated. Need to know, he reminds me. Right. You'll visit, though, if you have to go. I promise, Dad. Now that you know just enough, I think this can work. I'll keep you as close as you want. He chewed on his lip for half a second, leaned slowly toward me with his arms cautiously extended. I shifted Renesmee, napping now, to my left arm, locked my teeth, held my breath, and wrapped my right arm very lightly around his warm, soft waist. Keep real close, Bells, he mumbled, real close. Love you, Dad, I whispered through my teeth. He shivered and pulled away. I dropped my arm. Love you too, kid. Whatever else has changed, that hasn't. He touched one finger to Renesmee's pink cheek. She sure looks a lot like you. I kept my expression casual, though I felt anything but. More like Edward, I think. I hesitated and then added, she has your curls. Charlie started, then snorted. Huh. Guess she does. Huh, Grandpa. He shook his head doubtfully. Do I ever get to hold her? I blinked in shock and then composed myself. After considering for half a second and judging Renesmee's appearance, she looked completely out. I decided that I might as well push my luck to the limit since things were going so well today. Here, I said, holding her out to him. He automatically made an awkward cradle with his arms, and I tucked Renesmee into it. His skin wasn't quite as hot as hers, but it made my throat tickle to feel the warmth flowing under the thin membrane. Where my white skin brushed him, it left goosebumps. I wasn't sure if this was the reaction to my new temperature or psychological. Charlie grunted quietly as he felt her weight. She's sturdy. I frowned. She felt feather light to me. Maybe my measurement was off. Sturdy is good, Charlie said, seeing my expression. Then he muttered to himself, she'll need to be tough surrounded by all this craziness. He bounced his arms gently, swaying a little from side to side. Pretty baby, prettiest baby I ever saw, including you, kid. Sorry, but it's true.
Oh my god.
Pretty baby, he said again, but it was closer to a coo this time. I could see it in his face. I could watch it growing. I could watch it growing there. Charlie was just as helpless against her magic as the rest of us. 2 seconds in his arms, and she already owned him. Can I come back tomorrow? Sure, Dad. Of course. We'll be here. You'd better be, he said sternly, but his face was soft, still gazing at Renesmee. See you tomorrow, Nessie. Not you, too. Huh? Her name is Renesmee, like Renee and Esme put together, no variations. I struggled to calm myself without the deep breath this time. Do you want to hear her middle name? Sure. I'm assuming it's Carly with a C, like Carlisle and Charlie put together.
How to say it?
Yeah, I'm assuming to say
I
it's
actually
Carly.
don't remember the middle name.
It's Carlie. So it
Oh,
says
probably.
I'm assuming it's Carly with a C, like Carlisle and Charlie. I was getting the beginning of Carlisle with it's like a K sound.
Yeah.
And then the end is Charlie, so Carly.
Given the first name, that would make sense.
Okay. Yeah. So that, which is really cute.
That is.
Charlie's eye creasing grin lit up his face, taking me off guard. Thanks, Bells. Thank you, Dad. So much has changed so quickly. My head hasn't stopped spinning. If I didn't have you now, I don't know how I'd keep my grip on reality. I'd been about to say my grip on who I was. That was probably more than he needed. Charlie's stomach growled. Go eat, Dad. We will be here. I remembered how it felt, that first uncomfortable immersion into fantasy, the sensation that everything would disappear in the light of the rising sun.
Understandably.
Absolutely. And I think that might be that's probably the last quote for this episode. Or at least book quote. Can't guarantee anything else. Charlie hands Renesmee back and gazes around the room. He tells her he will see her tomorrow and tells her that it's not that she doesn't look good, but he'll get used to it. Bella thanks him, and Charlie takes off to his car. Bella is shocked. She must have a superpower. It went so well. Emmett isn't sure that she's even a vampire. She's way too tame.
Yeah, she just hugged her dad, and she's what, 2 days old? 3?
If even at 2, I think. Unless they skipped a day, but...
Less than a week.
Yeah, under a week. Bella remembers all the embarrassing comments that Emmett had made in front of Charlie today, and she snarls at him. Quote, ooh, scary, Emmett laughed.
Okay, Emmett, that's a choice.
It is a choice. Renesmee stirred and reached for Bella's face. She assures her that Charlie will be back tomorrow, and Emmett's excited. Edward points out that it's not a great idea to antagonize the strongest vampire in the house, and Emmett snorts, "Please." Edward asks Bella if she remembered the favor he asked of her once she was immortal. It took her a second, but she did. Alice started laughing, and Jacob peeks from around the corner from in the kitchen, mouth full of food. Emmett asks what? Bella's hesitant, but Edward tells her to trust him. Bella challenges Emmett to an arm wrestling match. Alice steers her away from Esme's antique table.
Sorry.
Yeah, she likes that a little too much. And they go back out to a granite boulder. There was a point where Esme does say, "Thank you, Alice."
Yeah.
Quote, "Okay, Emmett, I win, and you cannot say one more word about my sex life to anyone, not even Rose. No allusions, no innuendos, nothing." His eyes narrowed. "Deal. I win, and it's going to get a lot worse." End quote. Emmett wasn't bluffing, and he continues to taunt her. They count down, and then nothing. Bella could feel the force of his exertion he was using, but it wasn't enough to move her. Bella let this go on for a moment so she could enjoy his frustration. Bella got bored, though, and smashed his hand into the boulder. The rock shattered, and a large piece broke off and landed on Emmett's foot. Jacob and Edward were laughing, and Emmett kicked the piece of rock into the river and demands a rematch tomorrow. Bella tells him that it won't wear off that fast, but Emmett continues, "Tomorrow." Quote, "Hey, whatever makes you happy, big brother." Bella was fascinated by her strength and had fun punching and kicking the remainder of the boulder into fragments. She was giggling the whole time. There were chuckles coming from behind her, and then a new giggle came out. Renesmee was laughing. She was having almost as much fun watching Bella as Bella was smashing the rock. She reached out for Bella, and Bella asks if she wants to try. She hands Renesmee a shard of rock. Renesmee was able to make dents into the rock, but then frowns and holds it up for Bella. Bella takes it and pinches it into sand, and Renesmee claps and laughs. Quote, "I was amazing now, to them and to myself. It was like I had been born to be a vampire. The idea made me want to laugh, but it also made me want to sing. I had found my true place in the world, the place that I fit, the place that I shined." End quote. End of chapter 26.
And we're doing 27?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
One more.
Any comments on that chapter?
That was a cute chapter.
It was cute.
You guys should know by now, any like nice little cute father-daughter moment, I love Charlie.
We stan. It's very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And you need those wholesome little moments in the otherwise angsty mess.
Yeah. Ready for 27?
Let her rip.
Chapter 27, Travel Plans. So 3 months have passed by. Quill and Embry joined Jacob's pack, and Sam and Emily were cordial. The tension seemed to have been erased
Wait, Sam and Emily were cordial?
with everybody else. With Quill and Embry leaving to join Jacob's pack, everybody was.
Oh, got it.
I'm assuming that's what they were talking about, and Sam and Emily didn't split.
Yeah, well, Emily's his partner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird that they phrase it like that, because, okay, whatever.
Yeah. I'm assuming they meant they're all cordial, they are cordial with everybody doing whatever they want to do, not they are cordial with each other. Well, hopefully not.
Oh.
I don't know. The tension seemed to have eased, but that was mostly because of Renesmee. Sue came with Charlie most days to the Cullens. She didn't seem too comfortable in being there, and she was not like her son or the rest of the pack. She didn't speak often, but hovered protectively over Charlie. Leah was still uncomfortable there. Jacob wouldn't say why she stayed, but she was there, and she was now his second in command. Leah would check in with him often because of this. She wasn't happy to be near them, but Renesmee was the exception. Happiness was now the main component to Bella's life, so much so that she was closer to Jasper. At first, she was annoyed, thinking that Jasper could just give her space. She has proven that she won't kill Charlie or Sue. Edward explains that no one doubts her, but Jasper can't resist good emotional climates. Bella is so full of happiness and love that he gravitates to her without even thinking about it. Renesmee spoke her first word, which was mama, at 1 week old, but her first word turned into a full sentence. Mama, where is Grandpa? This happened because Bella was out of arm's reach. She walked for the first time less than 3 weeks later. She was staring at Alice arranging flowers. Renesmee got to her feet and crossed the floor. She wasn't even wobbly. Edward and Carlisle dove into research, but there was little to be found. Alice and Rosalie usually began the day with a fashion show. Renesmee never wore the same clothes twice. Now, that was partly because she was growing so fast, but also because Alice and Rosalie were trying to create a baby album that looked to span years and not weeks. They took thousands of pictures to document everything. At 3 months, Renesmee could have passed for a large 1-year-old or a small 2-year-old. She was more lean and graceful than a toddler. She could speak with perfect grammar and articulation, but she preferred to show people what she wanted. She could also run, walk, dance, and read. By Carlisle's calculations, her growth was slowing, but gradually. If the decrease held steady, she would be an adult in 4 years. 4 years an adult, and Bella thought an old woman by 15. She'll only have 15 years. But she was at least healthy. Carlisle would discuss options for her future when Jacob wasn't around. Jacob didn't like the only sure way they came up with to stop her aging. They had researched everything they could. The next step was to follow the old legends to their source. If others like her existed, there is a chance there is an old tale of the old lifespan of the half-mortal children. The only question was when. Bella was delaying the trip for a couple reasons. She was wanting to stay here until after the holidays for Charlie, and also this would be a solo trip. Bella also had to go see the Volturi, and she had to do it alone. One day, Bella received Arrow's present. Alice had sent a wedding announcement to the Volturi leaders while they were on Esme Island. While they were there, Alice had visions of Jane and Alec and the twins to see if she was still human. The present was not really threatening, but it was extravagant. Arrow's note read, "I so look forward to seeing the new Mrs. Cullen in person." The
Arrow.
Arrow.
Arrow
No,
sounds better.
it's Arrow.
No, I thought it was Arrow.
I thought that I was saying Arrow because I liked Arrow better, but the movie is Arrow. I am second guessing everything now.
So am I. I don't know. Screw it. Let's keep going. We'll find out when it comes to the movie, won't we?
I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right, and this is probably going to come to bite me in the butt.
I genuinely don't know anymore.
I remember calling him one way the whole time, and I'm like, that's the only way you would say it. And I'm pretty sure I was saying Arrow. And then it came to the movie. I'm like, why would they pronounce his name Arrow? That's dumb.
That's sounding right, but I'm also hearing it the other way.
I am too now. Well,
it's fine.
It's a 50-50, guys. It's one of them. Does it really matter? No.
No.
You all know who I'm talking about.
Right. I think I'm just so used to the Chaos part.
It will come. I don't think not in this chapter.
No, not for a while.
But it will come because his name is said a lot.
Yes,
and I might just point to you at that point.
I got you.
The gift was a priceless box and would have outshone any jewelry besides the ones that were inside of it. The others were looking at the jewels as Bella was more interested in the note. The Volturi had to see her as a vampire, and soon. They couldn't come to Forks. Edward.
Good.
What?
Good.
Good. Yeah, no, they could not come here. Edward tells her that she won't go alone. Bella assures him that they won't hurt her. They have no reason to. It's also the only way to protect Renesmee. Alice didn't see any troubles with her trip. Edward insisted on coming with her at least to London. Bella wouldn't let him leave Renesmee, though. Carlisle would come instead. They then started making plans for Brazil, and Jacob insisted on going with them. Bella, Jacob, and Renesmee then went out hunting while Edward planned their trip. Renesmee wasn't a fan of the animal diet, but seemed to go along with it once Jacob made a competition of who could get the biggest animal. Bella let the two hunters have some space, and she scanned. She saw something that shouldn't be there. A vampire with blonde hair, almost silver, and she stared back. Bella didn't know who this was until she saw her dark golden eyes. It was Irina. In the distance, Renesmee let out a cry of victory and Jacob's howl. Irina turned her head in that direction, and her face spasmed into pain. Irina turned back to Bella, and she growled and took off into the forest. Bella sprinted after Renesmee and Jacob. She didn't know what way Irina took off or if she wanted vengeance for Laurent. After all, it is a common obsession for vampires. Bella ran full speed and was back at them in under 2 seconds. Jacob was ready to attack. Renesmee leaped into Bella's arms. Bella tells him that she thinks that she's overreacting and thinks that things are okay. Bella calls Edward and fills him in on what happened. Bella tells him to bring Carlisle. Irina looked pretty upset. She might go to the house, but if not, he and Carlisle should go after her. Edward and Carlisle make it to the woods, and they were followed by Seth and Leah. Carlisle tells Edward that Irina is grieving and he'll go after her. Edward goes with him. Jacob huffs impatiently and nudges Bella. He wants to bring Renesmee back to the safety of the house. The 5 of them ran back to the house. Quote, Renesmee was complacent in my arms, one hand still resting on my face. Since her hunting trip had been aborted, she would just have to make do with her donated blood. Her thoughts were a little smug. End quote, end of chapter 27. I guess I'll just have to do with this. What a shame.
Que lástima. Oh, what a problem. Oh, well, things are about to get interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, the happy peaceful is gone.
It's gone. I know. That's what I really enjoyed these chapters. Made me really happy.
It was really nice.
Yeah.
It was sweet.
Why can't it be more happy like that? It would be nice.
Yeah, no such luck.
No, unfortunately not.
Not even a little.
No. But this book, I will say, was far more enjoyable than the other books, especially the first book. I will never pick that up again. Can't do it.
No. You know, that'll be, since we like to make plans here, that is our backup plan. If you ever see me re-pick up Twilight and I'll be like, oh, I'm rereading Twilight, get me help. It's a cry for help.
You got it.
Yeah.
I have
Same
video
with you.
proof now.
Yeah. If I see you pick it up and we'll be like, all right, either you've been body snatched and that's not you anymore, or that is the biggest cry for help in the world, and we're going to go have a conversation with some tea and some cookies.
Yeah.
And a lot of love and understanding.
Oh gosh. Something's got to be real bad.
Yeah. Let's pray we're never there.
Fingers crossed. Well, those were some fun chapters.
Yeah.
I love all the Charlie chapters.
I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it just so you're prepped. They give you so little of this in the movies.
I assumed, which is why I'm overdoing it with the Charlie quotes now, because I had a feeling, and You all know how much I love Charlie. He's the best character in this whole book.
I'm really loving Seth.
I know you are.
But human-wise, Charlie.
Yeah.
Supernatural-wise, Seth. You gotta love that happy energy, and he's just so wonderful, so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I love people that are sweet and just happy.
Yeah.
And yet I'm in law school. We're all just sad and tired. We're nice people, but we're tired. In the soul.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. What doesn't kill you makes you a better lawyer. I think.
There's that.
I hope.
Well, we got 2 more years.
We got it. And then the bar exam.
And then the bar exam. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's very distant, but it is there.
That's true. I'm only about 5 to 10 feet inside of the tunnel, though.
But you've started.
That's true. I am 5 to 10 feet further than I was several months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll be positive. This is a positive channel, minus our Who Knows What Wednesdays. No, we still try to take something positive from those.
We try to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our pyramid episode was a lot of fun. You should go check that out. It wasn't Connie, but she hasn't seen it yet. But
I
we
haven't
did have a lot
yet.
of fun.
Yes, for those who watch all of our videos, thank you. But yes, if you've noticed on our Who Knows What Wednesday episodes, we've had some guests to kind of help with my schedule. Mm-hmm. So you will see more of Jamie and Trent in the future, and who else we might have in there. Who knows?
Yeah, I have nothing. Don't get your hopes up for my husband. He has been very adamant that he will not be in any of them.
Yeah, I can see that. Same with mine.
Yeah, no. So don't get your hopes up for that. It's not going to happen.
Thank you for joining us. Oh, sorry. Any final comments?
No, I'm good.
Okay, that's good. We will see you guys next time for our Chapter and Chill Saturdays. I almost said the cereal one again.
Yeah.
Chapter and Chill Saturdays or Who Knows What Wednesdays.
Bye.
Adios. Why is cereal sticking in my head now? It was wrong. I said it once, and it's like my brain just doesn't want to let it go. That's fine. It's like infinitesimal.